Get ready for the world's greatest Arsenal podcast. Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Enjoy the show.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to another podcast by Arsenal's Guns and Yellow Ribbons. My name is Fergus. I am joined today by Big T and Old Man Trev. We are going to just have a bit of a summer catch-up. We're not going to try and do what everyone else is doing with like watch-alongs and thinking who's going to sign, who's not going to sign. We're just going to talk about facts and stuff that's gone on about the Arsenal Football Club since we have been in the closed season. Good evening, gentlemen. Trevor, how the devil are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Fergus. Very good indeed. I'm actually enjoying. I enjoyed the international football last night. It was nice to see an Arsenal player. Gives you a lot more interest in the games, in the international games as an Arsenal fan when we've got a lad in, doesn't it? So I'm good, ready for the season to kick off. Really, mate. We've got loads of pre-season games planned, haven't we? So we can talk about them. But to be honest with you, mate, I'm ready to pay for my season ticket. I'm ready to go again, mate. So yeah, looking forward to it.
In fairness, not only the new Arsenal shirt, and I know you had to have a wardrobe change because we had a bit of a clash early on. And not only had we that, but like a bit lighter around the face, are we?
Yeah, I am, mate. Yeah, it's summertime, so the beard's come off a bit. The beard's come off a little bit, and just so everyone knows, me and Fergus had the same shirt on when we were just preparing to come on here. So I went and changed it because I couldn't be doing with Big T taking the pee out of me all night. When I knew Tony was coming on, I thought, there's no way I'm wearing the same shirt as Fergus because he will do my head in, a big fella. So
As if I would.
Well, Tony, that's a perfect intro into you. How are you doing? Haven't spoken to you for weeks, mate. We've been on WhatsApp and various bits and pieces, but like we haven't had a chat. Well, actually, we did have a chat about an hour and a half ago. I was outside the pub, and unfortunately, I have had a libation or four. So this is going to be a challenge, to say the least. But how are you?
Yes, mate. I'm all good. Enjoying the summer, enjoying the sort of break from football, and then obviously straight into the Euros. So you're all good with the family, and surprisingly, I'm really looking forward to the season ahead. So yeah, I can't wait to get started.
And why don't you have an Ireland shirt on or anything like that? Like, you know, because like Ireland are on holidays. I thought it should be holiday shirts and stuff. You know,
it is a holiday shirt because we'll be out the next game.
Listen, we will get into the England.
Sorry, just one second.
England,
my daughter's so excited to come running in. My uncle's just bought her and my other little son, my 1-year-old, the new Arsenal kit. So she's absolutely excited and ecstatic to get the new shirts.
Good girl. Tell her, good girl. That's brilliant.
Good girl.
You said good girl. Good team.
Tony, ask her what she thinks of Tottenham.
No.
Harper. Who do we hate? Good girl, darling. Good girl.
Good girl. We like her. Yeah. You know, Tony, Trev's originally from Tottenham.
He's muted himself.
You're on mute.
He's muted.
I've heard he's a bit tired, so maybe he's got a bit of Tottenham in his, in his blood.
No, he's Tottenham born and bred, mate.
Born and raised in Tottenham, mate. Went to school behind the Tottenham ground. But been an Arsenal fan all my life. It was an hard upbringing. I mean, that's where I learned how to have a punch-up, mate, going to school in Tottenham as an Arsenal fan. It was like live by the sword, die by the sword. But what I will tell you is
Judging by your looks, mate, it looks like you lost a few.
Yeah, here we go. Like you all got them meals in your house then, son.
Listen, what we're going to go through tonight is we want to look back at what's been happening over the last few weeks and probably a month and a half, is it, since Arsenal finished their season. We're not going to really look into rumours and transfers and speculation and stuff like that, because if you want that, there's loads of other podcasts, there's loads of other sites, newspapers and everything else you want that.
We're going to look at more Arsenal.
What's that?
We haven't got the time with the amount of rumours a week.
Exactly.
We'd be here till next week.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, in fairness, Tony, what we've tried to do, and I'm sure you've probably seen, what we tried to do, myself and Trev have been doing a couple of, we've done two so far, the Arsenal history, the way it was, with Mark Andrews and Andy Kelly. We've done. It was meant to be 45 minutes, ended up being an hour and a half. Amazing hour and a half, just like a brief run through of the history of Arsenal. We didn't even really get to the Emirates. And then we asked them, after it was so successful, and a lot of people made a lot of comments on there, they kindly said they would do some other like different tranches of the era. And we've done 1886 to 1925 as the last one. And we're lined up now for the Herbert Chapman era. And tonight actually was meant to be the Herbert Chapman era, but Andy has got really bad toothache and he can't make it. So we've done this live one instead, just as a little bit of a catch-up. Have you watched them? You said to me earlier you were enjoying some of them. You'd seen some of them, not all.
Yeah, mate, I must admit, it's really enjoyable. There's bits that I know, bits I don't know. I think Mark and Andy, they certainly know their stuff. So yeah, I'm quite excited to see the next one, the Herbert Chapman era. Again, there's stuff I know, there's stuff I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely for anyone that hasn't listened, it's definitely worth a watch, or a listen, because yeah, it's definitely something that you can that's going to fill your time and you're going to learn more about the club.
Thank you. Trev, it has been enjoyable doing them. I thought one of the very interesting things I got, which I spoke to Lee Judges actually, because Lee was meant to be on today, but he's got more important things to do. But I spoke to Lee and I was talking to him about this fact, which was I talked to Mark and I said to Mark about like ladies got into the Invictus Stadium in Plumstead. And I said, would we have much of an attendance, and was that like commonplace? And he said our capacity, our attendance was like 40% ladies in the 1900s. Some of that stuff is just like amazing, don't you think, Trev?
I don't know. I've not watched it. Fergus, yeah, it's I pride myself in knowing stuff about the Arsenal, but them two boys, Mark and Andy, are top notch, and you get into it, get into it, and you get them started talking about the Arsenal. Them two boys, you feed them a bit of a line, and then you just sort of sit back, don't you, and you just listen to them because some of the stuff they come up with is very interesting, and some of it you've never heard of before, And I know we've got quite a bit to talk about with Herbert Chapman. I know that the boys have dug up some stuff that sort of in a way contradicts what the official history says about the Arsenal, and they've got some good stuff to back up their views. So it's going to be really interesting talking about Herbert, the man who shaped the modern day Arsenal as we remember him, because we all remember Highbury as it was. So yeah, look, I'm loving doing them, mate. I'm absolutely loving doing them. And they pass the time. You can talk forever on them. I know, Fergus, you have to reel us in, mate, because we'll talk forever. But I absolutely love doing them, mate. Learning about our great club.
I must admit, I'm way out of my depth in a lot of it because being a newbie and everything else. But I find them fascinating. I've learned so much stuff, and I'm boring people to death with some of the facts that Mark and Andy come up with when I talk to them about it and so on. Some other things that we've done recently, we've launched our own website. It's not like really, click and make us a load of money and nothing like that. It's just literally a place that we use as a repository, so people can either get access to the video version on YouTube or the audio version on Spotify or whatever platform you want of these podcasts, and also some of the blogs. The first blog we had was from Trev, and that was like the day before the last day of the season, before we were able to return to the ground, and that had a huge following, nearly 2,000 hits on that one. And we also had a competition between Tony and between Trev about who could get more hits for their own individual blogs. And I haven't checked, but it's pretty tight.
Where did this competition materialise? I can't remember it being a competition.
In Fergus's head, mate. In Fergus's head.
Yeah. Anyway, if anyone goes on a website and reads the blogs, click like on mine and not on Tony's, please. There's no competition.
Guys, listen, I'd like to talk about an Arsenal football player. If I'm honest, I don't know a man who was around my age, Alan Miller. He died sadly at 51. He was a goalkeeper for Arsenal. Trevor, you mentioned to add him onto the agenda to talk about, and I do agree that we should do. I think he had 5 first team appearances for Arsenal. He was on the bench. Trevor, do you want to take over on this bit and talk a little about Alan, and then Tony? I'm sure you would have seen him play. Go on, Trev. Over to you.
Yeah, we never saw a lot of Alan Miller because he was a backup goalkeeper to John Lukic and David Seaman. I'm not sure if he played 8 or 9 times for the first team, Fergus. But what he was, I never knew him personally. But what we found out recently is that he was a well-loved and well-respected part of Arsenal Football Club, coached by Bob Wilson, who thought massively of him. And in recent years, he'd been working in Norfolk, at Holcombe Hall in Norfolk, I think. So, yeah, a top man by all accounts. And what really got me onto it was that I saw there was Arsenal had been asked by Alan Miller's family to put a bit on the Arsenal website today about how overwhelmed they were by the feedback and by the respect and by the condolences shown by all the Arsenal fans towards them after Alan's unfortunate passing at such a young age. And it just got me thinking, that we all run our supporters down and we all say this and we all say that about the club. But when something like that happens, we pull together at Arsenal and all the fans come together and everyone says nice things and everyone means what they say, I think, because we're that kind of club. So I just wanted to get it on here, Fergus, and get it out there that poor Alan had passed away and that the fans of the club have been so respectful. And I, for one, think it's fantastic that they've shown that respect, and my condolences go to his family, mate.
Alan's family said Alan was so proud to sign for Arsenal as a youngster. He loved Highbury, being involved at what was such an exciting time for the club and the fans. He had so much respect for the history, the values of the club. It made a real impact on him. It made his career journey of being part of the first ever intake of Lillyshaw to Highbury. Can somebody, Trev, Tony, do you know what that is?
I think Tony will put me right here, but I think Lillyshaw was the Young England training centre, wasn't it, Tone?
I'm not 100% sure, mate. You may need to ask someone a little bit older than me. I'm not too sure.
I thought you was older than me. No, I think Lillyshaw was something to do with England and part of a coaching setup as well. So he may well. I never knew Alan Miller was part of that, but quite he obviously was. So yeah.
Yeah, he made his he played in the 95-96 season in the Premier League. So he appeared in the Premier League and I think also in League One, as it would have been at the time. So listen, love to all his family. I'm sure it's very difficult, but the Arsenal family do support our own, and we do share our love, especially from here as well. Other departures within the group. Pat says you're spot on, by the way, Trev. Pat's a new viewer on YouTube. I'm glad you joined us. Keep joining and spread the word to your friends. Steve Bold, after 33 years as player and coach, he's been a fantastic servant for Arsenal on and off the pitch. And he's gone. Tony, thoughts on Steve Bold going?
You're on mute.
Turn your mic on.
Oh my
God! Stevie Bold.
He's got
nowhere, but we don't care. Stevie Bold. Let's be honest. He's a club legend, and he always will be. I think it's the right time. It's probably sad to see him go, but it's the right time to part ways. We need probably a change in direction with coaches, and it's the right time. But at the end of the day, bloke's given us 33 years service, both on and off the field. And he should be remembered for that, not sort of the struggles and performances last year in the academy side, but the 33 years he's given to this club. I didn't particularly like people knocking him and disrespecting him this week. So for me, I'm going to remember him as a great player, a good coach, and obviously his dedication and service to Arsenal Football Club.
Absolutely. Well said, son. Well said, son. Why have people knocked him this week? Why have people knocked Steve Bold this week? What do you gain out of it?
Trev, I don't think, without being disrespectful, I don't think it is what you would call Arsenal fans. There's a lot of, and without being disrespectful, there's a lot of newbie fans, a lot of sort of social media fans. They seem to be the one that have disrespected and knocked him. And I'm going to say it, there's a lot of people there that have disrespected and knocked him, seem to be of the Ozil cult, I'm going to say.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, listen, Steve Bold was the greatest number 10 to play for Arsenal. And why was he the greatest number 10? Because in 1989, when we won at Anfield, George Graham pulled his masterstroke and played 3 centre-halves, and Steve Bold wore the number 10 shirt that night. So good luck, Stevie Bold. Good luck, son.
I was listening to you, but I was trying to look through a message from one of my guys that I know who gives me some information, and I can't find the actual message to read it out to you, but Arteta was not pleased with the dismissal of, the leaving of Stevie Bold from Arsenal Football Club. So and that actually will probably be a surprise to some of the haters and the outers of Arteta. As people will know, I'm still supporting Arteta. I support Arsenal Football Club. I don't care who's in charge. I support Arsenal Football Club first and foremost. But I will give this manager some more time. I think he still needs more time, but he seems to understand what the club's about and is trying to reinstate some of the class and tradition that we seem to have lost over a few years. And he wasn't very happy about that. A couple of other outgoings are Zach Medley. Zach Medley will leave the club to join Belgian side KV Oosend, Belgium club. He's 20-year-old. He's had loan spells at Gillingham, Kilmarnock. A good player, but just didn't make the grade. Trev, would he have made the grade, do you think?
Not seen much of him, Fergus. I think, do you know what? This is off the top of my head, right? This is off the top of my head. And Terry, my mate Terry's watching, so he may put me right here. I think that Zach Medley possibly made his first team debut in the same game that Bukayo Saka did, who we're going to talk about shortly, away at Poltava when it was moved to Kiev three or four seasons ago. I'm pretty sure that Zach Medley made his debut that night as well. And the lads played really well. We won 3-0 away. It was a cracking night, freezing cold. But I'm pretty sure that Zach made his debut. I don't know a lot about him, Fergus. You hear a lot about these players. But, you know, if he's not good enough, he's not good enough. And Arsenal have to move him on because all the fans, and me included, are moaning that we're stagnant. And so we need to improve. And if we need to clear out these young lads that are not going to quite make the grade, it's ruthless, but that's always been football. So, you know, good luck to Zach Medley, and I hope he's successful elsewhere. And
Big Steve in the comments says Blackpool was his debut, he believes, and Big Steve has got a chubby for the kids, as we know, so he will know that, and he'll understand the joke as well. Steve is not.
No, you have to be careful of that, Fergus, in fairness.
Yeah. I know. Tony, what do you know of Zach Medley? Are you sad to see him go?
If I'm being totally honest, mate, no, I'm not sad to see him go. I did have high hopes for him out of all the players that we were simply getting rid of. He was the one that I did have the most hopes for. I thought a couple of years ago he was sort of the next one to break through and be part of the first team squad, but his low moves haven't really developed it, or him as a person, as a player, haven't developed as much as I'd have hoped. McGuinness as well, he was at Ipswich. He's an okay player. I think he's going to be a sort of an established championship player over the years. Not quite good enough for the Premier League again over the years. He may prove me wrong, but from what I've seen, and Trey Coyle, I don't really know much about him, so I can't judge him, but I have seen a rumour today, mate, with the Medley one is that we get first option on. We inserted a clause in his deal that we get first option.
Yeah, there's a buy on, there's a buyback and sell on clause in there.
There's supposed to be with all three players, but again, I don't know the ins and outs. Listen, ultimately, mate, the 3 players wasn't good enough to break through into the first team. They're not good enough, and a bit like Trev just alluded to, we've been stagnant over the years. People moaning that we need to have a bit of a more of a ruthless stance with players, not just in the academy, but also the first team. And the sort of cogs have been turning over the last year, and we're hoping now this summer is going to be the final piece to put us back right and put us back in the right direction to start improving and climbing the league table, etc.
Yeah, of course, you're right. I hate agreeing with you all the time, big lad, but you're exactly right, mate, in that, if we are ruthless, if we talk honestly, we have brought some youngsters through over the last 3 or 4 years. We name them every other week, so I'm not going to name them, but they're playing in the first team and we've not improved under them. And I think when this latest bunch, when Saka and Smith Rowe came through and showed how youngsters really can break in, it sort of gave us a new direction, didn't it? It showed us where we need to head. And by the way, Big Steve, I hope you're going to eat your words, mate, because I've just checked here and Zach Medley did indeed make his debut away to Poltava in the Europa League. So 1-0 to the old man, son. 1-0. Check.
It's probably just as well Steve's on a diet at the minute, so he can't eat his words.
Check your facts before you post on here against the old man, son.
You touched on Trey Coyle, Tony. He's a 20-year-old, spent the first half of last season at Gillingham. He's a winger, and he's gone to join a Swiss team, FC Lausanne Sport, on a permanent transfer. He scored 13 goals in the Sky Bet League 1 last season. We don't need another winger, do we, Tony? It's going to be nigh impossible to fight his way into that squad that we got at the moment.
Before obviously going any more onto the players, the clubs that they've signed for will tell you sort of where they are as players and their development right now. Both have gone. One's gone to a Belgian club, which, as far as I'm aware, they're not even a mid-table club. Obviously, the Trey Coyle has gone to a Swiss club. That Mark McGuinness has gone to obviously Cardiff. So you're looking, thinking, well, at least he's an established Championship player now. The other two, it sort of shows where they are in terms of their development. I don't think they're going to be a big loss. And like I say, they may develop into Championship players in the future, but I can't see them developing into Premier League elite players and players that we're going to regret. I certainly don't think they're going to be Serge Gnabry's.
No, and Tony, Terry mentions here there's a big cull lower down, just not announced. And I think there has been an awful lot of young lads that are in the Hale End Academy, etc., that have been released out of their contracts and not renewed. It's probably subject to COVID, the losses that the club have made over the last 2 years. They've got no other option but to try and concentrate on the first team. There's rumours of £250 million being spent on the first team to support the first team going forward. We'll get into that in a minute, but we're not going to transfer rumours. But it makes sense, doesn't it, Trev?
Yeah, it does make sense. But what you'll remember, Fergus, is these young lads that are taken on and they learn the trade at Hale End and maybe even get into the Arsenal, get a professional contract in their early years at the Arsenal, but then get dropped off by the Arsenal. It's not time wasted, because if they've trained at Hale End, they may not make it with Arsenal, but there'll be plenty of other clubs that will look at that training that they've had and look at the upbringing that they've had by our great club and think, yeah, we'll give them a go. And as Tony's just said, that these two lads, Medley and Coyle, they're moving on, but and they're not going to as stronger clubs as the Arsenal, but they're going to have professional contracts and they're going to make a wage and they're going to play the game they love, and that's down to the Arsenal, because the Arsenal took them on in the first place and gave them a chance. So it's not wasted time when they get moved on. If they're sensible, I think that the career's there for them, and maybe just not at the Arsenal. So
they'll have a career, Trev. They'll have a career, and they'll have obviously, a career in football because of Arsenal on their CV, and that will stand for something for the remainder of their career. Obviously, it's up to them how far that they want to go in terms of professional footballer. But Arsenal's done their bit. They've had an education, and unfortunately, they just wasn't good enough. And we part ways and wish them all the best and good luck with the rest of their careers.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah.
The last one I want to talk about is McGuinness. I wish him all the best. Ireland international, blimey, Ireland international under 21s. He's done a long loan spell at Cardiff, and he's signed a permanent deal over there. So we wish him well as well, especially when you're playing for the boys in green. It's just that's all that matters. Tony, see, boys in green, that's all that matters.
To be fair, mate, you could do with all the you can get at the moment. It's not a good time for you guys, is it?
Absolutely.
Listen, we are on holidays and we're enjoying it. It's really good to be on holidays at the minute.
He sounds like a Tottenham fan making excuses, Tone, doesn't he?
It's a bloody long holiday.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, I just got a little announcement for any Scottish fans watching. Just a little bit of an update that might help you out. If you bought a brand new Scotland shirt at the start of the Euros, you're still within your 14 days refund period, so you can take it back and get a full refund. You get 14 days on it, so get it back there quick and get your money back.
Right. Okay. So we I'm Celtic, so I can't. Let me just.
That's so rude.
Yeah, I'm Celtic, so I can't really go against the Scots either. So listen, a final a nod to Alan Miller. There he is with Smudge. So we bid farewell to him, and now we move on to the next part of our season. We've got pre-season friendlies in Florida. I know some of the Arsenal Gooners and Gulf Coast Gooners and Tampa Bay Gooners and everything else. They're all going to enjoy seeing some Arsenal there. But we've also got a pre-season tournament that I mentioned some weeks ago, both on Guns and Yellow Ribbons and Arsenal Fans Forum, about Chelsea and Tottenham. Chelsea at home, Tottenham away, and I was scoffed. But it's an aid of Mind, the charity Mind for mental health matters. What's your thoughts about having not necessarily Chelsea at home, Trev? Because I think that will be a good game, and be good to bring the kids to see some of the kids playing for Arsenal and for Chelsea. But the Tottenham away one, what do you reckon on that? First, I'm led to believe, again from my source in the club, is that away fans will be going, and is a test event in London for away fans. So that's why it's Chelsea and Tottenham rather than like Manchester or Milan or something like that. They're trying to keep it reasonably tight just to get some of the stuff going on. What's your thoughts on that, Trev?
Well, I'm not sure. No game against that lot's a friendly, is it, Fergus? No game against that lot is ever going to be a friendly. And I don't like them. I don't like Tottenham. I don't like their fans, and I don't like the club. They've got no class, and I don't want to play them in friendlies, really. I want to go there and beat them in the league and beat them in cups. So I don't know if I'm not. I will go if I can get a ticket. I will go if I can get a ticket, and I will celebrate when we beat them. But pre-season friendly against them, does it devalue it when it comes to the North London derby? I think it might do. I think it might well devalue it a little bit, actually. It's a game that we build up to twice a season, and if we're lucky, once in a cup. And I'm not too bothered about it. I don't want to go and listen to that mob down there saying they're going to have a party when one of our greatest players passes away. Don't want it. So, yeah, I think it devalues it. I will go.
Trev, when you say devalue it, when you say devalue it, do you remember the last non-competitive game against Tottenham? I think it was 1990. Did you go to the game? I've got no real memory of it. I was only young, and I certainly didn't go to the game. But have you got any memory of it?
Possibly not. To be honest with you, Tone, I can't even remember it, son. So no.
I see the statistic today that it's going to be the first non-competitive meeting between the sides since 1990. But I don't know. There's part of me that thinks it may have been the Community Shield in 1990. But I may be wrong. Well,
it may have been a testimonial, mate. 1990 testimonial. Yeah. Testimonial in 19. We did play Tottenham in a testimonial, but I can't remember who it was for now. But I don't know if that was 1990. Someone on here might be listening. Big Terry Greenwood will be flicking through his programme thinking, right, when did we pay him in 1990? So I don't know, Tony. I can't remember. It might have been a testimonial, though. Be interesting to see. I wonder if there's anything in here.
Matt comes along, so we had to play at least one smaller team in London. So yeah, that would be, and we beat them 4-0.
Paul Ennis is right. The Makita tournament, wasn't it?
Yep.
The Makita tournament. God. Yeah, I remember that now.
I think that was what it was. The Makita tournament. I can.
Are you getting that Andy and Mark's book again? Are you?
No, it won't be in their book. It won't be in their book. But I could go in my cupboard. I think I've got the program in my cupboard. You two talk a minute. I'll be back in a second.
No, Paul, stay where you are. Paul's confirmed it was the Makita tournament. So yeah, thank you, Paul. Yeah, we now don't have to see his derby anymore. So like boob level is enough with him. Like any lower, it just gets like.
I nearly forgot I ain't got no text on.
Right, let's talk about a superstar, a guy that had a fantastic game last night. Unlike the national team, who have been, they've been, I would say, industrious and achieved what they needed to achieve. They got through, which is the main thing, top of the group. No outstanding players, bar one man, Bakary Saka. What a game! I didn't watch the game last night, people.
Bakary Saka.
Yeah, whatever. Just yeah. I know. Just move on, Trev. Move on. Saka.
I gave up with him.
Saka.
I gave up with him. The greatest young talent this club's had in years, and he can't even say his name.
To be fair, though, the 5 or 6 beers at lunchtime is probably not helped, mate.
Yeah, it wasn't lunchtime. It was after work. Honest. Saka had a stunning game last night. I did watch a couple of clips on YouTube, and he does. Thank you, Heath. Heath is also picking up on my pronunciation of Heinz Martinez. I'm sure there'll be more that'll come in. Yeah. You know what? The only good thing is Tony's not in the comments, because he'd be slagging us off on Pinky and Perky and and all that sort of stuff, and I'd be absolutely ruined completely. But he had a really good game. I watched some of the stuff that he done on some Twitter clips, and he was doing what he does for Arsenal week in, week out, and he is such a talent. And we need to sign him up to a long-term contract. Did he sign a recent long-term contract, Tony?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what length it was, but I know it was a long-term contract. Was it last summer? I think it was last summer he signed a new long-term contract. I want to say 5 years, but I may be wrong.
I don't think it was that long. If it's the one that I'm talking about last summer, I think it was a 3-year contract, which means he's going to be negotiating again next summer. And
that's fine.
We are going to have to pay. Yeah, exactly.
Listen, what I will say is he's a special talent, right? Not only is he a gifted footballer, he's very, very intelligent, and most importantly, he's a humble lad as well. He's respectful and down to earth. And on the flip side, he's one of us. He's been there from a young boy. He supported Arsenal. We watched this kid burst onto the scene, and we've given him rave reviews over, time. We've watched him develop, and we've watched him carry us at times. The world is now seeing what Bukayo Saka is all about. He started, I think, 5 times for England. He's got 3 man of the matches. For me, he's only going to get better over the years, and in years to come. I mean, the club and country should be building a team around him. I think he's that good. We can talk about all the other players, but he can. Very rarely does he have a poor game. As good as Foden is, and I think Foden's a special talent, the best talent in English football. But I have seen him drift in and out of games. Saka, considering he's not surrounded by superstars, he just turns up week or majority of weeks, majority of games, and just delivers. He just puts in a performance. He's nothing. He doesn't try to be anything spectacular. He just goes on there and does his job, plays for the shirt. And he's very humble in the process as well. It just makes him such a what's the right word? But you just fall in love with the boy, don't you? He's a special boy, special talent, and I'm pleased we've got him on our books.
You know who he reminds me of? Not in style of play, but like with passion and stuff like that. To a slight degree, Ian Wright, in the sense that he's England and Arsenal through and through, and that's what he wants to do. And with regards to Saka and Arsenal, I'd have Saka and Smith Rowe and go, right, okay, who else do we need? This is where our team starts. Because if you watch Smith Rowe and some of his interviews, the guy is Islington. Well, I know he's a Croydon boy, but he's like Arsenal. Totally understands, gets the club. Saka the same, totally understands, gets the club, gets the fans, gets the history, gets everything about what we feel inside. Not these keyboard warriors, but what we feel inside. And I think we just need to build around that. Trev, anything to add on that about Saka and maybe Smith Rowe as well?
Yeah. Well, look, firstly, Saka's contracted to us till June 2024. So, but if I was Arsenal, I'd be looking at improving that now, and I'm dare say Arsenal will. As I said earlier, I saw his debut for Arsenal, right? And
well said, Terry.
And I've said on this podcast on more than one occasion, Fergus, and you can dig it out. I'm not digging it out because we've done too many of them, but I stand by my words that I just thought Saka was such a great talent that this was where Arsenal would build their side in future. They would build a side around the likes of Saka, and I'm hoping that they're going to do that. The way he conducts himself, like Tony said, is very special. When he comes on and does his TV interviews for a 19-year-old, how sensible, how smart is he? And he just knows what to say. And he said today, 3 words come out of his mouth today, and it's been quoted on the Arsenal website: "I love Arsenal. I love Arsenal." When did you last hear a player say, "I love Arsenal"? I can't recall the last time I heard a player saying, "I love Arsenal." It may well have been Righty. Certainly none of this current crop that haven't given us 100% effort over the last few years haven't. And then you see what happened last night with the England game sort of reminded me what happened with Arsenal last season, Ferguson. That we were crying out for Saka and Smith Rowe and Martinelli and Odegaard to play in the same side, right? Or 3 of them 4 playing the same side. And we were stagnant, and we had a run of losses, didn't we, over Christmas? Over Christmas, we had a really bad run. And then he had to bring Smith Rowe in to play alongside Saka. And almost overnight, the Arsenal looked a different side because they had these youngsters with energy that wanted to play for the Arsenal. They wanted to play for the Arsenal. They weren't there to make because they've moved to the club for a big money transfer move. They've come through the ranks. And it reminded me last night in that I'm not knocking the 2 lads that got dropped last night. It's not their fault. Maybe it's Southgate's tactics. But with Grealish and Saka in the England side last night, we just looked a 10 times better team, didn't we? The England team looked so much better. Heath, I still don't talk to you, son. I'm still not forgiving you. I'm still not forgiving you for the abuse I've got weeks and weeks and weeks ago. But no, I think that I stand by what I said. You're doing my in with that phone. You really are doing
my phone. It's my wife's phone.
Well, have a word. My wife wouldn't dare let the phone ring in our house, mate, while I'm on here. Never in a million years. Well, she would actually, and she'll kill me for saying that. But no, Bukayo Saka is a very, very
special. She texted me already.
What?
She texted me already. I just got a text.
We need to keep up with Bukayo Saka under all circumstances, and we need to build this team around him some more. I'm not talking about who we might bring in to play alongside him because, as Tony said again earlier, we must have been.
I'll tell you who, Trev. I'll tell you who. I want Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish, Emil Smith Rowe, and Bukayo Saka in the team. Yeah. I know it's not. It's a dream, and don't take my dream away, Fergus. Please, don't take it away.
Oh, I agree. Tony. You're right, though, mate. Can you imagine the movement and even Aubameyang had scored 20 goals a season with them 3 behind him, you know? So, by the way, one picks up this season, and
you know who could be a cheaper and also a very viable alternative to Grealish is Phillips. That Phillips guy from Leeds. He's got to be what, 25 million, 30 million?
No,
He's got to be half the price.
It'd be 30 million, mate, and he's not good enough to lace Jack Grealish's boots. Phillips is a good player, and I do like him. Different positions. He's nowhere near the class of Jack Grealish. Nowhere near the class.
You're starting to lower your standards, lads. You're starting to lower your standards. It's pointless talking about this because we'll be linked with another 5 players tomorrow and another 5 players the day after and another 5 players the day after that. And I don't really care.
Agreed.
Until it goes on the Arsenal website that we've signed a player, then I don't care. And these people on social media that are in the know and they've got these hundreds of thousands of followers, they ain't. Screenshot all of their comments, and then when the start of next season comes, scroll through all the screenshot of who they said that we're definitely buying, and you'll see how much in the know they are. Not at all.
No. There's only one person that knows, and if people are in the know, they know who he is. It's Andy Nunn. He knows everything. But otherwise, none of us have a clue. He knows exactly what's going on. Big Steve and Heath are come along and saying that Phillips isn't even international, and Phillips is a DM. Sorry, Steve. Did you see him play in the first game? He wasn't a DM then. Rice was sitting deep, and I don't think he was a DM then. Listen, last topic that we're going to talk about is the opening. What we got? 2, 4, 6 games, bringing us to the end of September. So we got Brentford away, the newbies coming into the Premier League. Friday the 13th at 8 o'clock. Some people might love a Friday night 8 o'clock kickoff. Other people might think it's a pain in the arse. I'm in the latter. Then we got Chelsea at home, City away, Norwich away, Burnley away. I'm up for that one. And then Tottenham at home. How do we think we're going to get on with that? With those 6 fixtures? Then, Trevor, I'll go to you first of all. What's your thoughts of? Is that a hard start to the season when having Chelsea, Tottenham, and City in there, being away to newcomers Brentford who are going to be up for it? Is that a hard start to the season? If
you take a breath, I'll get a word in. Listen, it's
ask the questions first.
So much for the not being in Europe and having all these Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs, eh? So much for that. Oh my God, that hurts my eyes. So much for having these 3 p.m. kickoffs on a Saturday afternoon. It is what it is. The first 6 games, you know me, we're going to win all 6. We're going to have 18 points. And why shouldn't we? We've got as much chance as anyone else of having a great start to the season. We drew a good start to a season. And if you're an Arsenal fan, if you're a proper Arsenal fan, you're going to say we're going to get 18 points from our first 6 games. Oh, no, I'll tell you what, let's be sensible. Let's make it 16 points because I'll go for a draw at Man City away. How's that? You know what I mean? So I'm excited by the season. I mean, I don't like all these games like Friday, first game of the season, Friday night at 8 o'clock. No, don't do this to me, man. Let me enjoy the first game of the season. But we all know that TV chooses the fixtures. Everyone got excited last week when the Football League put the fixtures out. I just sat home with my feet up thinking, there's nothing to get excited about here because this ain't the fixture list. The Football League, the Premier League don't release the fixture list. They just say who's playing who each week, really. And that's not the proper fixtures. It's when they're played that matters. And then Sky TV come in and say, and BT come in and say, right, this is the real fixture list. You've given us a list of games and we'll tell you when you're playing them. So it annoys me greatly not playing them on a Friday night, not playing on a Saturday afternoon. But we're going to get 18 points from our first 6 games. No danger. We're going to have all these new signings that people are telling us about. We'll probably, with all the new signings, we're going to have a team of 11 and about.
He can talk, can't he, Tone?
So, we'll win. We'll win all 6.
Right, now we can get a word in edgeways. Sorry, Pat, you are correct. Friday the 13th is incorrect. It's Friday the 17th. So
I'm not being funny, boys. It's the first show back, and you 2 are starting.
We're not starting.
Just enjoy the summer.
Started. So, Tony, your thoughts on pre-season, the opening 6 games of the season, Brentford, Chelsea, City, Norwich, Burnley and Tottenham. First of all, of those 6 games, 2 are at home, 4 are away. How many are you going to, and what's your thoughts on them?
Oh, my word.
Oh, okay.
Oh my word! Who turned the lights down?
I think it's
You're back.
a tricky start. There's no denying it. It's a tricky start, but for me, if we want to be serious top 4 contenders this season, and that's got to be the aim. Let's be realistic. The aim is not to win the league, because I don't think we're good enough. I don't think we're going to spend that sort of money to win the league or challenge for the league this season. But top 4 should be the aim. And if we're to challenge for the top 4, then for me, you've got to be getting you've got to be taking the bare minimum of 10, 11 points from those games. For me, there's no more excuses. Owner, board, manager, players. It's time for them to deliver this year. We've got no European competition to get in the way of things. It's domestic football only this season. We can trim our squad, get a few new signings, and hopefully really kick on this season and get back to European football, or securing European football next season. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we make the right signings and we can get back into the Champions League.
Agree.
And
big tough ask, by the way. It's a tough ask, but that should be the aim.
Looking at these fixtures that put up on the screen, what are the first ones first of all, Tony, to you, what's the first ones you go and look for on this fixture list that comes out for 2022?
So for me, any fixture or any fixture list that comes out, I always look at who we've got at the start of the season, who we've got at the end of the season. Start of the season is obviously always nice open day fixtures, etc. And the end of the season, I always a little bit. Sometimes in a dream world, I always think that is this the place where we're going to separate and win the league? I had it a lot as a kid, and unfortunately, I've not had it for a number of years. But yeah, they're the 2 fixtures, and then after that, it comes down to sort of the Tottenham home, Tottenham away, and obviously your big fixtures, Man United home and away, and who we've got on Boxing Day.
Trev, we're away to Newcastle on Boxing Day. When you look at these fixtures, what ones are you looking out for?
We're not away to Newcastle away on Boxing Day.
Not Newcastle. I said sorry. That was Newcastle because Steve Norwich away. Sorry, Steve, but Newcastle. So multitasking, mate. Sorry.
Who do I look for, Fergus? Well, I always look for the first game of the season, and Brentford away. I'm a bit gutted that we may not be allowed to go to that because it's a new ground for a lot of Arsenal fans. And then I look at Tottenham, obviously, when we've got them. I think we've got Burnley. You've took it down now, Fergus, but I think we've got Burnley away in September, haven't we? Which is always off because they'll still be playing cricket in Burnley at that time. So if there's a cricket game on at Burnley when we turn up, it's always
you're just tight. You want £2.80 pints of Guinness.
No, I said the cricket club, not that pub in town. And then I see we've got to wait right until the end of the season, till the middle of May for Newcastle away. I always look for Newcastle away because it's a great day out, great place to go, and it'll be shorts and t-shirts weather, won't it? Middle of May away at Newcastle. So I like that. So for me, it's the first game of the season. I like Burnley away in September. That's attractive. I look at Tottenham, and then Newcastle away I love as well. But, hopefully I'll be at every game, fingers crossed. Oh, no, I won't be at every game. I won't be at Man City away. Do you know why? Because it's the same day as my inconsiderate daughter has arranged my granddaughter's birthday party. And so I can't go to the game because I've been threatened with death by the missus if I don't go to the birthday party. So I'm going to miss one game this year so far, Man City away, and I'm not happy about it.
Can't you change your granddaughter or something like that?
Well, I thought about it, mate. I've got, I have got a plan B, but I don't fancy being divorced, so I might just shelve the plan B and swallow it on this occasion. But
you know what? It's probably a little bit cheaper just to swallow it and just get on with divorce. Is normally expensive.
It is. Listen, Ferg, right, mate. Listen, while we're talking about fixtures and away fixtures, I'm going to talk about it. I promised a good mate of mine I'd mention it to you, and I forgot to mention it to you boys before we started, so I do apologise. But you know all about it. The away ticket scheme has been announced.
I was just literally getting onto that. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, mate. You carry on, mate. Sorry, you carry on.
No, you carry on.
Your dummy went just down on the floor, Fergus. Pick your dummy up, son. Went down on the floor. So the away ticket scheme's coming to an end. I'm not a member of the away scheme. I've got my points on my season ticket, and I get my away tickets. I'm not a member of the away scheme, and there's been loads of views, pros and cons, and people that haven't been on the away scheme saying this and that today. But one thing I just wanted to throw into the fold, that before these tickets were capped at £30 for away games, indeed £26 by the Arsenal because the Arsenal subsidise them, right? Away tickets were 60, 70, 80, 90 quid a week, right? How many of these people that are moaning now were interested in going then? You've got to remember, these away scheme members that are complaining, that are not happy about coming out of the away scheme, they spent 60, 70, 80, 90 pounds for season on season on season on season going to these games. So regardless of what you think or whether you're jealous of them being in that scheme, that they've done their bit and they deserve some respect, and that's all I can say on it. To me,
what's your thoughts on the away scheme ending then, Tony? Before you come in, personally myself, I attended probably 4 or 5 away games a couple of seasons ago, but I've got little or no away credits because I got to buy them through the cartel that is the away ticket scheme. And then when we get to the Champions League final, Europa League final, FA Cup final, League Cup final, these people who may or may not go to every away game, but they've bought tickets and sold them on to people, get first priority to pick for their mates and their lot. I'm not taken away from the fact that these people are automatically debited from their account to pay 25 quid to be a member of the away ticket scheme. And there's 1,200 of them that are committed to saying we will turn up. And of those 1,200, I would have thought at least 1,000 of them do week in, week out and everything else. So I'm not criticizing those people because I know they're hardcore, legitimate, real, true Arsenal fans. But it makes it very difficult for other fans like myself and other fans to try and build up those away tickets points so that we can go to other games. If not, we got to go to, I don't know, the back of beyonds sometimes. Tony, what's your thoughts?
Wait a minute. It can be done.
No, one second. Let Tony come in and then I'll let you come in.
You've annoyed me now again. That's twice tonight.
Yeah. That's fine. You can go back in after Tony's talked.
Hang on, I'm just going to get the music out again. To be fair, boys, I think it's a good idea, and I'm speaking from my side of things. I totally get why people are annoyed, because they put their time and the graft into going week in, week out. They've spent a lot of money over the years, but also know a hell of a lot of fans that they're on this scheme and they don't go to every game. They sell their tickets. Now, both my season tickets have about, I think it's 12 credits on this year, or they're at 12 after the reduction. The tickets have come off. I think it's 12 I'm on. Now, I've been to a hell of a lot more away games than that. If they were on my credits, I would be plus 30 credits easily. But because I can't get the tickets, I've got so many contacts now. I end up getting tickets through various people, away tickets. I don't get the credit from them. I don't get the credit from them, and they're part of supporters clubs. They're part of the away scheme. So various avenues. I've got contacts to get tickets, but I put in a lot of time and effort to go to a lot of away games. But I don't always get obviously the credits, which means come certain games or cup finals, I'm low down. I'm in a pecking order when I can't get tickets. So for me personally, I think it's good. I've got more chance of now building up my credits myself. But yeah, I can see the members that are part of the Arsenal, obviously the away scheme. I can see why they're upset, and angry because there's a vast majority that are putting hard graft and have gone to, some of the back ends of Europe over the last couple of years, and they're putting some hard graft. And there's there's pros and cons to it, but for me, and from my side of things, I think it's a good idea, and it gives other fans a chance to go.
I think it spreads the load a little bit for other fans and give the likes of me, you, like you're on the same WhatsApp group and network that we can get away tickets to most games if you want. You got to pay, and we can get tickets to most games that we want to go to, but that shouldn't be the case. We should be able to do it legitimately through Arsenal, especially as a season ticket holder at least, and then it might help some of the silver and red members as well also get an opportunity to get tickets. Trev, I annoyed you. Tell me why.
Yeah. Well, look. Firstly, right, I can see both sides of the story. As I said, I'm not a member of the away scheme, right? And I get tickets to some games through the same channels as you boys do, and it does frustrate me a little bit that I have to do that. But what I also have got is on my season ticket. I can't remember how many, but I've got plenty of credits now, right? Got plenty of credits, and I got them credits just through hard work. I did the miles. I went to Bate Borisov. I went to Ворskla Portova. I went to Spartak Moscow. I went to wherever these League Cup games are on a Tuesday night in the middle of nowhere. I went to them games and I got the points. So you can do it, and I can see both sides of the story. So I'm sitting on a fence a bit. I've got plenty to say on it, but whose side I'm taking, I'm sitting on the fence because I can see both sides. And, and what I will say is, though, if you've got a season ticket and you've got no credits now, it's going to be a bit harder because we ain't got the European games to go and collect credits, and you don't just collect a credit for a European game. You've got to get flights and hotels. So I fully understand how difficult it is. But if you're really dead set, you can get your points up from zero. Europe helps, but you can do it. Takes 3, 4, 5 seasons, but you do get there eventually.
Well, Trev, I think it was over the last 2 seasons that we could go into away games. I must have done 10, 15 aways. I've got 2 away credits. And Terry puts it on there. How is it going to change? The away scheme, although it might end, the people with the highest number of away credits, which will carry over once the scheme ends. As from this year, they don't have to pay the 25 quid. They still will get priority for the next 2 seasons, and their points will stay in place. So they're going to have the highest points, and they're going to be able to do what they want. And then if they want to tout them on and sell them on, I'm sure they will do. I'm just looking. I've not read this. This just can pop up. Dave Harold said, will the away scheme get an extra membership or merge into season tickets?
It's being merged into season ticket bowl accounts. They're just going to get the away points, the credits from what I know.
Yeah, it's on your season ticket, red membership, silver membership, gold membership, whatever it is, it will be on there. Guys, I don't think there's very much more to cover. Please, if you haven't checked out our Arsenal History podcast, we've got the hour and a half long one, which is actually really interesting. If you can put up with Trevor for an hour and a half, I don't know. But it's the complete Arsenal record. It's also it's basically Mark and Andy from arsenalhistory.com. They talk to us and tell us loads of stuff about Arsenal. The second episode is Arsenal 1886 to 1925, the Plumstead to Woolwich era. And the next one, which was meant to be done tonight, but unfortunately Andy isn't feeling well. We are going to do it next week. Is the Chapman era. We'll then do the sort of Barron era between 35 to 53. Then we look at like who are we looking at after that, Trev? Is it Bertie Mee?
We've got
Bertie Mee
and Bertie Mee, and then we move on to George Graham, I suppose. A bit about Terry Neal, because Terry Neal got us to 3 FA Cup finals in a row, and then we move on to George Graham and more of the middle era. Fergus, I'm sorry, son. We've had loads of fallouts tonight, you and me, but I love you. Just got to say one more thing about the away tickets, mate. I have bought tickets from away scheme members before in the past. I have. I've got friends that are away scheme members, and any of us that say we haven't bought tickets from away scheme members isn't being truthful.
A lion.
But what I will say is the real Arsenal fan away scheme members, have never charged me more than face value for a ticket, and I wouldn't never
Agreed.
pay it. They're my friends. And if they can't go to the occasional game, they'll say to me, Trev, do you want a ticket for your own use? Do you want a ticket for your own use? You pay what I pay. They're proper Arsenal fans. I can get by on that. These people that want to charge us an absolute fortune and they're in the Arsenal away scheme, they shouldn't be in there. They're not Arsenal fans. Not having that.
Totally agree.
Just had to get that in, mate. Sorry.
Totally agree. And both of us are members of a WhatsApp group which is dedicated to a lot of rubbish and somebody's ego, but also dedicated to away tickets, and there's a surcharge on top. And occasionally I have bought a ticket from there, but fundamentally I disagree with it, because I've even had, and I'll give a shout out to John Malone. I don't know if you're watching, John, and if you are watching on Catch Up, thank you very much. But John occasionally has come along and said, I've got a concession ticket for somebody who has to be a pensioner, an under 12 or under 16-year-old
What
child.
do you do? Give Trevor? What do you do? Give Trevor a call?
No. I knew
conversation. This Arsenal Football Club. This does not involve me. I'm having nothing to do with what he's about to say.
I don't have a conversation with Trevor because I know Trevor's sorted. But my grandson, and he kindly transfers it onto his junior gunner membership, so it's all legal and above board. And he's able to get into the ground, and he went and saw his first North London derby a couple of years ago, and he loved it. And that's what Arsenal fans do. People touting and charging over the odds. I've no issue with somebody taking a drink, a fiver, or somebody a couple of quid for postage or transferring or whatever. I've no issue with that. If the ticket's 26 quid, 30 quid, yeah, fine, done, job done. But if a ticket is 30 quid and you want 45, I do take slight liberties at that. Tony, comments?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, mate. I've sold tickets before, and people have, I always charge, if I can never help a person out, I always just round up to 30 quid and just say, look, give the geezer 30 quid. He sorted you out. For the sake of 3 quid and 4 quid, ain't an issue. And, I've had it on a fiver before. If I've had to go and collect the tickets from my mate, I'll just cover my petrol cost. But then equally, when someone's done me a favour, I'll, slip them a favour as well. You're helping each other out. Yeah. You don't mind just saying you run about for me, or a couple of phone calls as an extra $5 to have a beer, or just as a thank you.
You'd buy somebody a pint, wouldn't you? You'd buy somebody a pint.
That's what you do.
People are still out there. I mean, we was at a game. It must have been. It was Watford, so it would have been 2 years ago. It's when Aubameyang scored that. When Ben Foster tried to clear it, and Aubameyang scored from the clearance. And I was talking to a Chinese fella who was sitting in front of me. He got charged £200 for a ticket. So someone had obviously got a ticket in the Arsenal and then charged his £200. This Chinese fella and his missus, they bought 2 tickets. It's 400 quid for 2 tickets. I mean, it's extortionate. But again, I suppose
at the Emirates in the lower tier.
No, it was at Vicarage Road. It was when the Aubameyang closed down Ben Foster from the clear.
So they're £26 tickets, £30 tickets.
26. So this Chinese fella in front of us, we were staggered because I thought he was going to say, look, he's been charged 60 quid. He charged £200 a ticket. This Chinese fella and his missus paid. It's a 400 quid for a pair of tickets to go to Watford away. It was, I nearly fell off my chair because I was in shock and disbelief. Like I say, we've all stuck a fiver on the cover cost of petrol or phone calls, but that sort of money was just. There's people out there that are willing to pay for it. So while it's sort of demand, people will get charged whatever. Personally, I think they're stupid for these people, whether they're tourists or whatever, to sort of fork out that amount of money is ridiculous for any game. But yeah, the sad people who are, whoever's selling them, I think there's also a little bit of theft.
I do believe that the club, with this amnesty of changing names and so on, so if you're renting a ticket and so on, plus the moving to a digital thing so that your phone can become your season ticket. And I think there's going to be links in with identity checks and so on, all post pandemic and everything else. I think touting, fingers crossed, will be outlawed or got rid of. Listen, money talks. If you've got the money, you can always buy whatever you want. But I just don't like the average Joe, like those Chinese guys you're talking about. They're turning up and they want to pay 400 quid for 2 tickets. I just think it's wrong. I think it's classless. And the people who are doing it are normally...
Listen, these people, it's not their fault, mate. They come, hey, up, Big T's gone. These people, they come on holiday to the UK. It's probably the only time they're going to visit the UK in their lives, mate. And I feel sorry for them because they want a ticket under any circumstances, and they can go online to these sites online, and they can pick them up, at very inflated prices. Them sites want taking down, really,
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, I was away at Bournemouth, away at Bournemouth. Was it?
But does that come down to the supply and demand as well, Trev?
Yeah, exactly.
There's an element to that.
I don't agree with it. But
yeah, I know what you mean, Tom. But there was Japanese tourists at the away game at Bournemouth the season before last. I dread to think how much they paid for them tickets at Bournemouth, because they are like hen's teeth, mate. Away tickets for Bournemouth. I dread to think what they paid. I don't know what they paid, but it was a lot. I bet it was a lot of money.
Well, can you imagine how much somebody will pay a tout for Brentford away first game of the season? 1,700 tickets is what we're going to be allocated tops. Which is similar to Bournemouth. It's a small stadium. First game of the season. First game in nearly 2 years that away fans may be able to attend unrestricted, etc., etc. They'll be charging bloody hundreds, and it's just wrong. Guys, this was a half-hour podcast. That worked. Yeah,
got on too long. An hour and 6 minutes YouTube's mugs is too much.
Yeah. Well, especially when I can see most of your chin now, and both of them as well. I didn't realise you had so many chins, Trev.
I don't carry much, do I? You don't, for an older, don't carry much. Still got it up there and all, son. Hey, still got it up there.
Yeah, right. Okay, you believe. Listen, you have been watching Arsenal, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Guns and Yellow Ribbons.
Just before you finish up, I forgot something. I see a comment. Right, at the very
if it's not him, it's you.
I see a comment at the very beginning of the show from your good friend Kai. Right? No, I haven't forgiven him. I will never congratulate Chelsea, and I never want them to win the Champions League. So, Kai, you are not forgiven, and we've still got problems.
Yeah.
And there we go. There's Kai's comment.
Yeah. Kai, you need to wash your mouth out, son. That's bang out of order.
Kai, I didn't realise you congratulated Chelsea. I might actually have to block you on my phone now, mate. That's poor. That's poor. Guys, as I said, you're watching an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Here he goes. Go on. It wouldn't be the same if you didn't. It's 1 hour and 7 minutes. What's another 3 minutes of his warbling on going to make a difference?
I love you, son. That's all I wanted to say to you. I love you, son. I love doing this. I needed this tonight. I hate the close season. I needed you two tonight. Although Tony's buggered off now. Look, I've had before you close, mate. It's been enjoyable. We've talked some great stuff, and
do you know what I said to the wife? I said, oh, we're not doing the podcast. The Chapman era tonight. I said, all right. I said, yeah, but I'm still doing the podcast at 7:30. I said, why then? I said, well, Trev wants to do a podcast. What about? I said, I don't know. Trev just wants to do a podcast, and she went, he just wants to talk Arsenal. All he ever wants to do is just talk Arsenal. And I went, yeah.
Right. I'll never be able to argue that. She's right.
It don't make him a bad person, though, Ferg, does it? Come on.
No, there's lots of other things. I'll tell you another time offline, Tom. But there's lots. There's lots. Guys, listen. If you like what we do, we've overran by 38 minutes because this was meant to be a 30-minute podcast. 45 at tops, which I sent you on a text, didn't I, Tony? 45 at tops. Please do click the like button on YouTube, subscribe to us, click on Facebook, tell your mates. Listen, you see what we're like. We're just Arsenal fans talking Arsenal. We're not out here to make fortunes, or it's just a hobby for us. If none of you click, we don't really care because we'll still carry on doing this because it is just purely fans chatting Arsenal. We're having a public chat, basically.
Regardless, we'll still waffle.
Yeah,
And have a
regardless.
look at the history of our great club. Fantastic. Have a look at the history of our great club.
Thank you very much, everybody. Only one last thing to say. Up the arse.
You've been listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons and Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too.
Trevor will have waffle a lot, doesn't he?
Oh, Trevor. Upstairs. Where's